Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Hope we could talk, see what's going on positively and everything. Welcome to my channel. Hope we could talk, see what's going on positively and everything. Hey, good evening, Don Jose. How you doing? I'm actually new to this, so bear with me. Hey, good evening, Don Jose. How you doing? I'm actually new to this, so bear with me. Yeah, so you're making your way to Philadelphia today or tomorrow? Yeah, so you're making your way to Philadelphia today or tomorrow? Yeah, so you're making your way to Philadelphia today. All right. Great. Let's see. Ugh. So today's topic: how can we, as blacks and Hispanic, can maintain better health? I think that will be a good positive topic for tonight. I mean, yeah, I'm talking about the many facets of health, well being, learning how, I guess, exercising more somewhat. So, I mean, all facets of health because we're living in times that certain people do not have the right mental health or they might not have physical health. So we have to maintain our own because a lot of we having a lot of negative influences and mental and physical health coincide with each other. Well, I thank you, Viva, ex Tina. Um, yeah, this is my first stream. Still don't know what I'm really doing, but you know, I'm just like, I'm just gonna give it a go. Yep. Oh, Christina, when you gonna come to Philadelphia? Because I see you be having fun up in the DMV. I mean, you and Valentina, y'all be going to the nicest restaurants and everything. And I seen that bachata dancing video. I'm thinking that me and my wife should try that. Maybe I should bring my cat too, because I was trying to teach her on merengue the other day. I mean, yeah, I mean, Center City is where it's at. Just don't go to South Street because of what happened there like I guess a month ago. Yeah, that's nice. Hopefully, like at the end of August, me and my wife are gonna be in New York City for a week. I mean, in New York, it'll be a lot of activities. I think supposed to be popping up. I mean, there's always some activities in New York, and oh, like I know at the last Sunday of July of this month. I mean, it's supposed to be the Dominican parade, and I know in August, like the second Sunday, is supposed to be the official Dominican parade. I'm trying to see which one I'm going to go to because I might have some entertainment interest right there, as far as rappers, directors, etc. Yeah, it really has. I mean, she can. I mean, Parchester. I know that there's this good Bangladeshi restaurant. I forgot what direction it is, but I know that the owners by the name of Cone. The food over there is spicy but great. Yeah. Well, now actually I don't, but let's see. Done and done. It's nice. I'm getting a little bit of hang of this. Hey, how you doing?
Good evening, Don Armando. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right, Jose. Oh crap. All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? Don't feel so bad. I mean, it took me a while to figure out StreamYard as well. I mean,
Right.
Denise did help out with some of the stuff. As far as sharing, I actually did the millennial thing and actually look up in YouTube how learn how to share my screen.
Got you.
Once you know your way around StreamYard, it's relatively easy.
All right.
Okay. No, but when it comes to like health, there's several aspects about it. But one big issue that we seem to be approaching is people with mental health issues.
I mean, yes. I mean, if you actually look at it, there's a lot of people, I guess, in this day and age that we're talking about mental health, and it's turning out that certain people that do not have, I guess the right support or anything like that, and since they don't have the right mental health, there's a lot of decisions that actually affect us because of mental health. Believe it or not,
Yep.
because with mental health, you have certain people that you be like, okay, they do not have reasoning or whatsoever. We don't know if they went through a childhood trauma just to say the things that they're offensive or things that we do not agree with. So there's a lot of mental health. It actually plays a part of that.
Mhm. I agree. Now, if you want to now highlight the comment there, what you do is you um, you take the cursor and you clip it to hide, and what would do this comment would disappear from the screen.
Right.
Okay, you'll get the hang of it. You'll get the hang of
All
it.
right.
Look, look. We've seen this in multiple streams where
Yes.
you have people who talk, but they don't know what they're talking about. And instead of trying to, discuss it like grown adults, they get emotional and they get in their feelings, and then they start saying a bunch of all disgusting things, and then they
Yes.
want
Like
to.
yes. Yes. Like certain people where you're not going to mention,
No, I
and
agree.
and it's like to me, one thing that I've one thing that I could actually say I'm talking about as far as mental health. Okay, certain people they want to say that, oh, I heard something which is very ridiculous. A person writing that Christopher Columbus was the king of the Dominican Republic. Okay, I mean, there's some mental health right there because if you actually look at the story of Christopher Columbus, believe it or not, he died poor, and
Hmm.
he fell out of favor of with the Spanish crown.
Hmm.
So with that, I don't think he was a king of anything because you were in the servitude of a real family. So for a person to say that they are the king of a land just because they found it or anything like that without no place in history saying that that person was a actual king is to me is very disturbing to say the least.
Well, what just as disturbing is being accused of being called a racist, and then when you get caught upon it, it's like, oh, go to my podcast. If you're going to make an accusation,
And they
either
stand
produce
by it.
either produce the receipts or retract the statement.
I mean, the thing is though, from what I'm seeing and everything like that from your accuser, It's like he's doubling down. You get what I'm trying to say? Like for example, if a person's gonna accuse you of being racist or anything like that, show the receipt or show the proof.
Hmm.
And certain people, they think that their channel is lit and everything like that. And Denise, she actually went and made a point about certain stuff. Like some of these people, they I guess they have mental health which they do not know, and they want to proceed to talk nasty things. I mean, nasty things that I guess you're of a professional setting, Mister Don Jose. So
Yes.
therefore, stuff that you would not say like in the boardroom, but yet you have certain people that want to um be with this fake alpha male philosophy that it's okay to be nasty to people just because Mr. Orange is nasty to people. And then when they say this stuff, they think that they're gonna be rich or whatever the case may be. I've seen this time and time before, and I've seen it that it's failed because you actually telling people on how to be an alpha male, which is actually which the translation of being an alpha male is to be nasty towards people and tell people what to do. When the fact is, there's certain people that are not going to stand with that. What would and the last time I looked at it, there was a real man and there's not a real man. And why are we calling each other alpha, sigma, and betas when we're not actually wolves? I don't get it.
You know what, Don Armando? I don't think they get it either. I mean, when you think about it, there is no rhyme or reason regarding some of the stuff they're saying. Now, the thing is this: I have 235 videos of my channel.
Right.
Okay, you're not going to see one racist remark. If you take a look at my moderators, I have 12 moderators on my channel. All of them are mixed. I have appeared on biracial and multiracial channels. So, with all that, explain to me how I could be racist.
I mean, if you actually look at it, this is one thing that I'm actually seeing is that certain people are provocateurs, if
I
anything
agree.
like that. They're provocateurs, meaning that they mean to uh they mean to just promote how should I say it? Confusion. So therefore when they promote confusion, meaning that they do not have any content or anything to bring on the table, what is the first thing that a person will say? Oh yeah, you're a racist. Oh yeah, you're whatever. So therefore, when they try to spread all the confusion, so to silence your point of what you actually are saying, and they do not like what you're actually saying because in their mind it's a threat to them.
Mhm.
And I'm seeing this time and time again. I'm like, for example, you got hackers that they call me the next creyente. Before this YouTube streaming or whatsoever, I was watching the things for knowledge. I don't know who the heck is this creyente to this day.
Okay, now if I can educate you somewhat. Basically, this person named Corriente was a person. Um, at one point, he was reported to be Panamanian. Another time, he reported to be Colombian.
All
So,
right.
so you know he, and then it's later determined he's something else.
So,
So in your case, because of certain aspects of your life, they're trying to
mhm.
say that you are a fake Dominican. Now, with all due respect, I mean, I mean, what's the whole point? So the person can say, "Gotcha."
To me is this. The whole point is that I was saying a lot of stuff, right? That goes against what their view of Dominican Republic is. Because the Hispanotaps, right?
Hmm.
Their whole view is that everybody came from Spain and they're trying to exclude within the story. There's some of them incorporated. Some people don't. That they want to push the fallacy that it was a natural things in order, and black people were slaves, and we didn't go and sleep with black people whatsoever. But if you actually look at most people DNA, they have Spaniard or Portuguese blood, right? So
Hmm.
so when I went up and I said of what I am and everything, you have to take this into consideration with some of these mentally disturbed people. Some of them, they either stay in their hood and they go to Dominican Republic. They fill themselves with ideology because they think that their that the that their party or whatsoever is the
Hmm.
right way to rule America. So therefore, they want their countries to be far right. So therefore, they could be more successful. And with some far right ideology, some of the people in the far right do not like black people. And if is black people that support them, they'll try to throw them in under the bus so therefore they could get ahead. And I'm seeing this right now and again. They want to create. They see that the Afro Latino movement is growing strong. So therefore, since they see that more people are actually being educated on what Afro Latino is, they want to try with all their might and everything to talk about that everybody is descendants of Spain and everything. When you actually look at them, and if they were to even go to Spain, they'll be laughed at because I don't. As far as the Caribbean, unless if your family came to the Caribbean 100 years ago and then y'all just mated with just strictly Spanish descended people, I don't see how a person, I'm talking about from the three Caribbean, Spanish speaking Caribbean islands, could say that they are just Spaniard unless if they're around the line that they have no unquote to them no corruption. But if a person, let's just say there might have been black like maybe 200 years down the line and such, and then they take the DNA test, they do, oh, you're black. They'll try to um they will try and say, oh yeah, that's just like 200 years ago or so, or they'll try to deny that they're black or have anything to do with black people, and they want to push the old Spain, uh, the old glorious Spain. When the fact is that now, I guess since Spain's in the eurozone, they think that oh yeah, the far right Spain is good, but then when they actually go to Spain, there's going to be a different story or a rude awakening, how my mother used to say.
Well, you know what? One thing that people with these say spinal taps forget or conveniently choose to forget that our culture is a mix of the indigenous people, Africa, and from Spain. But
Yeah,
and they would swear up and down um, that they're 100% Spaniard. I mean that does not exist. I mean we are a mixed racial group. It's just that some people are just too brain damaged um, to try to figure it out.
yeah,
And of course we know certain individuals, particularly one that had to leave the U.S. to go to the DR, and he's not a Dominican citizen, as far as I could recall.
I mean, if you actually look at it, there's a rule, right? And the rule is and the rule is that some of these that some of these people in Dominican Republic, if you have two Dominican parents, you're you could actually apply for Dominican citizenship. So in my case, I might do that like in the long run. My wife might do that in the long run. It's something to think about. But at the same token, I might just do it for as far as land rights or whatever the case may be.
Hmm.
But Dominican Republic is not, even though I love Dominican Republic and everything, it's not a strong passport. And a lot of these Hispanotypes knows that also. So therefore, since some of these countries do not have a strong passport, meaning that what they would try to consider most countries as third world, et cetera, they'll try to go and say, "Oh, I know who is like first world, Mother Spain." When the fact is that Spain is under the euro, so therefore the euro is higher than the dollar. So therefore, they're like, "Oh, I think Spain is going to be the model of the whole world." Because it's under the eurozone and the euro is more than the dollar. So therefore, they're like, in order to preserve our whiteness or whatever the heck may be, in their mind, we're going to go with the far right. And that's why you see certain things are actually happening now in the United States because certain people are they left their promises, they're not keeping them, and certain people are just getting fed up.
Hmm. Yeah. When I think about the politics of what's happening in this nation, it seems like the inmates are running the asylum. I mean, look, the fact of the matter is we have real problems, okay?
Yeah.
As far as people being shot and killed.
Yes.
So what do? They tighten the gun control laws. Okay,
Mm.
the fact of the matter is, illegal criminals are going to get illegal arms no matter what. I mean, New York is a perfect example of this. We have some of the strictest gun control laws in the nation. Now, I don't know if that's the same thing in Philadelphia. I imagine it's more or less the same. But with all that, criminals are still getting guns.
Well, this is what happened in Philadelphia, which a lot of people don't understand. Like under, unlike New York, in Philadelphia, I'm saying Pennsylvania state in the whole, a person could actually just walk into a crib and get a gun, provided if they have not a record or not.
Mhm.
Provided they have a clean record, they just go to the gun store, they just get a gun and that's it. Or somebody they actually go through their licenses and you could get an easy license before you even get your car, just to have a gun. And if the cops stop you, you just show your gun registration and that's it. And certain people in Philadelphia, it's a little bit different because people who are actually law abiding owners and stuff, the reason why it might have happened like a little bit is like, looting, but it didn't go as the scale as New York, is because if these people were to go and loot like Latino businesses, etc., everybody in that neighborhood had guns. So therefore, if the looter was to actually try to break into a Hispanic store, 9 times out of 10, they'll be shot by their own neighbors because you're breaking into that store in my community and we're not jacking it.
Mhm.
So
I
it's
hear.
a little bit different in Philadelphia because I talk to a friend about this all the time, and a lot, even though that we have epidemic of people getting shot here also, because we actually beat New York by maybe 95 points when it came to shootings last year or whatever the case may be. Um, but everybody in but the shootings that happens more or less sometimes is people defending themselves because you got a lot of wackos around here that will shoot you for anything. You got people. I was just talking to a lady and she was saying that her friend that son is actually facing trial right now. He had his gun legal and everything, and he had to defend himself against a guy that did not like him since elementary school. So when this guy was going on social media saying, "Oh, I'm going to get you when I see you," it's on. When that guy and that other guy encountered each other, they had a shootout, and the other guy who was hating on that man lost his life. And there'll be evidence and everything like that that this guy actually went up and provoked it, and the man went up and actually protected himself because he was a legal gun owner and the guy wasn't. So it depends on the laws. It depends on what type of book they're going to try to throw at you, because sometimes when a person shoots and everything like that, they'll be like, okay, it will not be a case. But then sometimes you have some of these racist judges that they want to make a case out of nothing when they show the real evidence that you were just actually defending themselves from a criminal or a person that had a criminal past. So it's right now you have to prove beyond a doubt that your life was in danger.
That's crazy.
And the cops, I can't. I've heard that the Philly cops, I guess historically, the cops and African Americans in Philly, they do not like each other. But I see the cops around here in Philadelphia, they're actually nicer than the New York cops. Sad to say, they'll actually say, "Hey, how you doing? I just walk. I just walk on my way to work." They're actually nice, depending on like black, Hispanic, white. They actually greet you and they say, "How you doing?" I never got that when I was in New York. It's just always a F you or we're going to try to plant drugs on you.
Okay. Well, see here. Okay. Okay. Here in Parkchester, we have the Parkchester Department of
So,
Public,
oh yeah,
which is
those
which.
guys, those
Uh,
guys, they're actually cool because during the times that I be in Parkchester, because I have a cousin that live, I have like two cousins that live in Parkchester, and whenever I go visit them, I mean, I'm more familiar with Parkchester, the old Parkchester, where you used to have the movie theaters, the Macy's, Starbucks. I guess been there for like 20 something years, and I remember when it was a Hallmark store when I was growing up. So this is way before the Bangladeshi influx came to Parkchester.
yeah.
So and then now, like around like near Parkchester, it has like three mosques. You have one mosque which is right behind of Starbucks. You have one like okay, you know where you go to White Plains Road. They have
Hmm.
another Bangladeshi mosque before you actually enter Parkchester through the train station,
Uh-huh.
and the other one is like a little bit further, but it's still like where the old Blimpies used to be. There's another mosque as well, but it's more of an African mosque. So therefore, there's like maybe three or four mosques which is actually near each other.
Hmm. Interesting.
Yeah,
Now, Macy is still in existence. Starbucks is in existence, but the movie theater, I think it's been closed for years. I mean, I
yeah,
moved.
yeah. It's like where the Marshalls at right now.
Yeah, I mean, I have been living in Parkchester. It's going to be 5 years in January.
All right. I mean, and then I know that there's a pizza shop right next to right next to that Marshalls. That's been there ever since for like
Yeah.
ever since I was a teenager. I used to take my whenever I used to babysit my little cousin.
Hmm.
I used to take him just to eat pizza all the time.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Interesting. One thing about Parkchester, you have a lot of municipal employees who live in the area.
yeah, and you have a lot of places to eat.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, if you don't feel like cooking, I mean, there's a little bit of everything.
I mean, you got the Chinese, which is like right, like as soon as you walk straight down from Macy's, you just make the turn from Marshalls. You got the Chinese right there. I don't know if Ellie's is still there. Um, I remember when there used to be Uno's, but now that's an Applebee's, I think. Then you
Actually,
have,
actually, Applebee's closed down, so now you have another restaurant.
but all right. So what's the restaurant? Because I know that the last time I was around there, I'm not saying when I ate around there, it was an Applebee's. I know before that it was an Uno's.
Yeah, I think it's called Hook and Reel. It's like a seafood place now.
Oh, all right. I think I
So
might try. I think I might try that.
yeah, so you know what? If Christina, the next time that she comes to New York, if she looks me up, maybe I'll take her to dine there. I know that when she comes to New York, she look up for people like say, Fighter and other people like that. I know I'm not exactly, you know, young, but I'm not chopped liver either. So
I mean, yeah, because I was talking to Fighter because when I was in New York, I was trying to see because he lives near the area. I was trying to see if he could go to a concert that I went to. Well, my wife, it was on the boat, but he wasn't able to make it. But
yeah,
me and Fighter, we actually met. We actually linked up like last March, where and he recorded a little video. But I don't know how his page is, so I just really forgot about it. So it was just like my view on Chivo and that girl. You know that racist girl from Washington Heights. So it was just that. There was a hey, would you like to meet that person? I was like no, because I don't even think that's a girl. That's my opinion because if you're gonna go and try and talk and say all these things just because my story doesn't agree with your narrative, at least show your face on here. I can't respect a person that never showed their face, but yet they want to criticize on what I'm saying is fake. Or better yet, they'll be like, hey, your last name's not that. I'm like, okay, so you know. Like,
okay. And again, what's the whole point? I mean, does to say gotcha? I mean, that doesn't. I mean, that doesn't make any sense. So when Magnesi was going on with you about saying that you're African American, it's like,
I was
what's the
laughing. I was laughing because I went up and I was like, okay. And then I told him like so many times, I was like, respectfully, you're gaslighting right now because you cannot get my year and this year and get 40. That's why I told him. And it's fun. And to me, it was funny because technically I backed him down. I mean, respectfully, you know what I'm saying? And
yes?
then in the back chat, me and him, we actually traded ideas and such. So therefore, I could actually say with Nakmeezy, like our interaction, even though he was trying to come at me hard, and I went up and I stood my ground, he actually was telling me like, okay, this is a team called Team So Baffle. I actually contacted them and I was like, I want to talk to artists from that country. I know they haven't hit me back up yet, but I'm gonna hit them back. So he actually gave me some good info.
Hmm.
I gotta thank him for that the next time whenever he comes online.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I mean, when everything is said and done, we should be able to identify ourselves as we see fit.
Exactly.
And if people have an issue, they're gonna have an issue. I mean, look, I mean, like I said before, I mean, in certain circles, people say I'm racist. Certain circles say I'm white. I'm sorry, I'm not white. I'm not trying to, put any shame on anyone who's Caucasian. I'm just simply, I mean, I am a multiracial individual, just like you,
Yes.
because we have we're similar in the sense that our culture comes from Africa, the indigenous people, and from Spain.
Yes. And when I said, and when I went up and I was like, okay, I'm a black Dominican, it was like, black Dominican, that doesn't exist. I was like, okay, so if a black Dominican doesn't exist, right? What was Johnny Ventura and what was the late great Jose Tomateo? And with that goat faced person who's actually living in the mountains of Dominican Republic, what got me, I could actually say, what got me introduced to Christina, uh, fighter, radical Latino, was one video that the stupid goat actually put out. He put out a video dissing the late great Johnny Ventura, and he and his detractors were trying to say that he was a Haitian and all this, that, and the third. And when he went up and he was talking about the beauty, they had a interview of Johnny Ventura talking about the beautiful things of being a black person or whatever the case may be. They went up and tried to flip it. It was like, oh, so this guy talking about the beautiful black things, so why his wife is white and all this other stuff in Spanish. And then you have some of his detractors that were saying like, oh, this person was Cuban and spreading a lot of falsehoods. So I went up and I went and I talked to Chivo, and Chivo was like, oh, you don't even look Dominican. I was like, really? So I just went up and I showed the YouTube links of my the Instagram links. And I was like, okay, so I don't look Dominican. So what I'm repping right here, like, oh, if I'm not Dominican, who's this guy right besides me, right? That's my pops. So I just went up and I just sent him in all the chat, and he was trying to tell me all this stuff. I was like, you know what? I was just indignant that there was an artist in the Dominican Republic that he just said one wrong thing and they got at him. And nobody went up and got at this idiot. So I went up and I did my research on Goat Face, if I might say. And I seen the rant that he did regarding the riots in 2020. And when I was starting to dig even deeper, it was his whole reasoning for his rants and whatever is because, which a lot of people or may not know, is that he got dumped by an African American woman, and the African American woman went to pursue a lesbian relationship with another black woman. So I think that might have been the starting point for his racist ideologies or whatever. And another point that his nephew actually set to radical, because his nephew actually is in the recording industry. I'm not going to say the big recording industry, but he actually has his own studio.
Hmm.
He was trying to say that Chivo was never loved in his home. His mother never loved him, and his father went up and left him. So therefore, a part of his ideology is so therefore he could be close to his father, who has those same ideology as a Dominican. So since a lot of his family members stopped talking to him, and he went and put out his own nephew's number as okay, so people could try to harass the nephew. actually backfired on him because his mother went up and called the FBI in Santo Domingo to to actually stop Chivo from doing that, or else he was going to be arrested in the Dominican Republic, or the FBI was going to see him.
Hmm. But you know what? But you know what's funny? And this is why somebody sees spinal taps, they don't understand, or but they don't want to understand. When the Spaniards came to Hispaniola, most of them did not bring women with them. So you know, heterosexual men, they have urges to smash.
Or, well,
So,
and another thing which a lot of people don't put in history books, right?
mhm,
Some of these soldiers were actually, I'm not going to say all, but let's say like maybe 40% of them. Most of these soldiers who were in the Spanish army were actually, quote unquote, like maybe 13 or 14 years old. So if you're like 13 or 14 years old, I'm just saying that the mind is not fully developed, and it makes sense. It kind of makes sense on why all these murders and rapes and pillagings and so forth
okay,
actually happened.
excuse me, trying to be a little careful. The word will be try to use sexual assault because YouTube gets a little bit.
Oh yeah. I mean, this is not monetized, so
I know, but
yeah,
YouTube gets a little
yeah,
deep,
yeah, yeah.
it's but I mean, as I was saying, okay, so since a lot of these bands did not bring women, what they did, some of them actually assaulted the indigenous women, or they had, they got busy, and then when the indigenous people were dying, they brought Africans as slaves. So
Yep.
what they did, some of them were sexually assaulted, others were, it was just like treated as a concubine. So that explains the fact that you have Latinos with different hues.
Yep. And also another thing which a lot of people were saying, like in certain areas where they couldn't have a power base or whatever, I was looking as far as the history of Equatorial Guinea.
Mhm.
They went up and they actually manufactured what I mean manufactured is that they either married the local women or whatever the case may be, have children, and then those children will be loyal to either the Portuguese or the Spanish crown.
Mhm.
So in that case, that's what that's what I think happened too, because I was actually watching TikTok and they actually said that during the 1700s, quote unquote, there was a lot of free there was a lot of free African slaves that actually married to the Spanish nobility in the Hispaniola, Cuba, and and Puerto Rico.
Mhm.
So that's one part of history that a lot of countries, quote unquote, do not really want to teach their population.
Mhm.
And I learned that for myself, by reading books, of course,
Yes.
and talking to my mother because she had a good command when it came to the history of the Dominican Republic, Cuba, and Puerto Rico.
Mhm.
So when a person tells me, "Oh, you're Wikipedia, you're this, you're that," I'm like, "Why don't you show your face and tell me?" I'm like,
But you,
I'm like me. If you're gonna say all these slanderous things, at least I just want to look at your face to see who is saying this. I just want to look you in the face. But since you do not want to look in the face and you just want to hide on between the comments, I'm gonna make a joke out of it. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And it's funny because they use nasty terminology about their private parts, and I just had to laugh. I'm like, wow, they do not like me that much that they had to use terminology about their private parts to describe their dislike for me. It just actually is a shame.
Yeah. And I don't I don't want to mention any names, but there's always like one or two people that love to talk smack about me and my channel. Okay.
Right,
Now, you know what? If you don't, okay, I understand that not everyone is gonna like my content. That's fine.
right,
I'm not taking a gun to you and say enjoy it. I mean, if you want to receive it, fine. If not, block me. You
right.
get me? I mean, I'm look. The fact of the matter is this. You know, what we're trying to do with our platforms is to provide a safe environment for free flowing of views. Some people they don't understand that. All they understand is people being wretched, people arguing, cursing each other up a storm, and going, spreading a lot of bochinche.
Yes, and I'm seeing that a lot within the comments as well. And for example, I was on Tina's channel, and I was just talking. The next thing you know, I'm getting blocked just because, well, whatsoever. And I didn't. And to me, I did not really say anything wrong to actually disrespect people. But then when you talk and they see that you're actually defending yourself in a way or whatever, they want to block you because what you're saying does not go against their goes against their narrative.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I hate when people are followers. Like, okay, oh, this wouldn't happen if this city was Republican. I'm like, okay, I don't know about the Republicans or Democratic run cities, but let's be honest. Everybody has crime in all cities, right?
Yes.
So, and Radical was talking about how certain people, like within the cities and stuff, whenever they do a quote unquote census, they try to move one group that they do not like into their fold. So therefore, when a crime happens, nobody could say, "Oh yeah, this was discrimination," because that person was just white.
Hmm.
Think about it. If an Italian and a Russian man went up and fought each other, right, in a New York City street, and one calls the cop on the other. Now, typically to a American person, a Russian person is white, but then that person might be having like a mix of Arab or Asian blood, right?
Yes.
But to the eyes, that person will be a quote unquote Caucasian person. So therefore, the cops who haven't really been outside the world yet or do not know the world will actually put that person down as white when the fact is that person might be another ethnicity, but just because that person has a limited worldview, they'll put those two people as, oh, two European guys fighting. You get my point?
Yeah.
And that's
Because
what
people,
they're and
because
that's what
people,
they're gonna and that's what they're gonna try to do with most people in the Latino populations. So therefore, certain races could get away with crimes.
Mhm. Yeah.
Actually, Radical, you actually had a post about this. Like I think it was months ago.
Yes. But you know what's crazy? Because sometimes in our communities we have a beef regarding stupid stuff, which doesn't mean anything, but yet because of someone saying the wrong word at the wrong time, or they look at them funny, or they start out hollering at the girl. Next thing you know, these people are in a war, and then they don't want to talk to each other or interact with each other. I mean, it's a little silly.
Yes, it is. Just 1 second.
Yeah. While we're waiting for Don Armando, I just want to encourage everyone, if you have not done so, please subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification to all, uh, and of course, like. So therefore, whenever Don Armando produces any content, you will have the opportunity to either watch it live or catch it on the playback.
Yeah, I'm sorry for that. I'm about to end the stream and everything. But
Okay,
one
well,
thing,
first,
but one thing I could actually say good night to everybody. It was a nice time. Just this is my first stream, and I learned a little bit. So therefore, hopefully, whenever I have a day which is nice or whatever the case may be, I will actually have a longer stream. So shout out to anybody that went and visited my stream for the first time. I thank all y'all, and I hope to see y'all or communicate with y'all again.
well, thank you for allowing me on your platform, and thank you for making me a moderator. Um, you
Thank
know,
you.
because I really do appreciate. And again, people, if you have not done so, please subscribe to Don Armando's channel. Hit the, give a lot, hit a like, and hit the bell notification to all. So that being
Exactly.
said, be safe and just have a good night, people.
You too.
Okay, take care.
You too.
Goodbye.